Knock at the Cabin is finally here, and this is my movie review. Now, for M. Night Shyamalan, is this film a huge win, or was it a bad idea all along to let these bad guys in? Hey guys, welcome to Marcus Loves Movies. My name is Marcus Lee, and welcome to my Knock at the Cabin movie review. I've been looking forward to this one because I like M. Night movies. You're never quite sure what you're going to get, so we've got this one here. Going to give you a quick plot outline, and then I'll share my thoughts and feelings about it. While vacationing at a remote cabin in the woods, a young girl and her parents are taken hostage by four armed strangers who demand they make an unthinkable choice to avert the apocalypse. Confused, scared, and with limited access to the outside world, the family must decide what they believe before all is lost. Like I said, with an M. Night Shyamalan movie, it's a bit like a box of chocolates. You're never quite sure what you're going to get. Is it going to be very deep? Is it going to be brilliant? Is it going to be bonkers? Is there going to be a twist at the end? And I think with this movie, Knock at the Cabin, it's got a mix of all of those elements. I think the build-up and the tension at the start of this movie is great. We know based on the trailer that there's going to be a home invasion and a break-in. And watching it happen though, watching it play out is absolutely fantastic. There's almost a Hitchcockian vibe about it. So we've got these four strangers who break into this cabin, and it's our job as the audience to figure out, are these guys a little bit cray-cray, or is it actually the end of the world? And I think the film does a good job on one hand of making you think, oh, actually, yes, the world is ending, this is the apocalypse, but on the other hand, it goes off in a direction where you maybe think, these guys are actually nut jobs, and we're going to figure that out. And it's just a case of helping this couple to escape from all of these crazy people. As the film was playing out, I thought, I'm enjoying it. It seems like a good script. I'm not going to try guess what happens next. I'm just going to see what happens. I never felt bored. It zipped along nicely. There are some violent moments in the film, and one thing I do like about M. Night movies, I remember him doing something similar in The Sixth Sense with a violent scene, is that you don't actually see the violence happen on screen often. What happens is the camera moves slightly away from the action as it's happening, so by the time this violent thing happens, you're now focusing on something else. And it's actually worse, I think, to not see the violence on screen, but you then have to imagine in your mind what's happening because you can just hear it, so your mind then has to picture what is happening. I think that's actually worse than seeing it happen on screen. You could argue they do that to bring down the rating of the film, so you're not seeing this bloody, gory violence on screen. It stops it from being an 18 movie and helps it to be a 15 instead. But I actually think it's much worse to have to picture it in your mind what is happening than actually seeing it with your own eyes. This film uses flashbacks, which I think can be a little bit hit and miss. I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with flashbacks. Even though I've used them in films of my own, I think they can be really good to help to add great backstory to the present day story, but sometimes I think they can be a bit of a lazy storytelling device when you don't have enough story in the present day, you don't have enough action, enough tension to keep the story going. So flashbacks are used here, and I think we could have done without these flashbacks. Apart from one flashback towards the back end of the film, which I thought was really good, I think we could have done without flashbacks in this film. I think we could have just sat in the present day, sat in the current tension, and that would have been good enough. We didn't need them. But then again, that's just my opinion. I also think that the motivations of the four characters who broke into the cabin could have done with a bit more work in the script, because they were all pretty much like, if this thing doesn't happen, then we're all going to do this. And I was like, do you all really need to do that? That didn't make too much sense to me, so I think that could have done with a bit more workshopping in the pre-production stages. I thought that Dave Bautista was the best thing about this film, hands down, no debate, as Leonard, the leader of this home invasion. Forget Drax, forget the bad guy from Spectre, this Blade Runner 2049, Dave Bautista is absolutely fantastic. An unusual casting, but he was absolutely brilliant. I also thought that Ben Aldridge as one of the parents was great as well. He had slightly more to do than Jonathan Groff, but I thought Dave Bautista and Ben Aldridge were absolutely fantastic. They carry the film, Dave Bautista slightly more so. I actually think this film will divide audiences. I think some people will think it's really good, and some people will think it's pants. I suppose it depends on how real it is for you. Now, as I was watching this film, it's not a scary film, it's not a horror film, but there were some things that happened towards the back end of the film on screen that made me feel uneasy, because I've had recurring nightmares and recurring bad dreams about these things happening. So whilst I was watching it, it made me feel a little bit uneasy. I didn't enjoy it as much, and it made me feel like, ooh, imagine that happening. Now, I'm not going to spoil it here on this video, but if you want to know what I'm talking about, ask me in the comments and I will go into more detail there with a spoiler alert. So I did like this film. I think it's one of the better M. Night films in recent years. I think it's better than Old. I enjoyed the build-up and the tension at the start and the tension throughout. I just think the script could have been tidied up a little bit, and I think we could have done without those flashbacks, but that's just my opinion. So my official Marcus Loves Movies rating for Knock at the Cabin is, mini drum roll, 3.5 stars. So after watching this film, I certainly won't be booking any cabin breaks anytime soon, but I would watch this movie again, so that can't be a bad thing. So that's what I thought about Knock at the Cabin. As always, I would love to know what you think, so leave me a comment in the comment section, especially if you want to know what I have bad dreams about. And whilst you're here, can you do me 2 quick favours? One, give this video a like, and also if you do like movie reviews, trailer reactions and film discussion, please subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate your support. Thank you for watching my Knock at the Cabin movie review. Please stay tuned for the next one that I do, and I will catch up with you again soon. So until then, take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching.